Hi, everyone. Okay, so what we realized was that the LinkedIn group, right? Not everyone is very active in LinkedIn. So what we did is that we are trying to create a new kind of communication method so that we can get everyone together in one channel. So we created like a WhatsApp community. So you can actually scan the QR code. This brings you to a WhatsApp group that is managed by all three of us, me, Aloysius, and Phyllis. So there are actually two channels as of now. One is the announcement. So the announcement goes out to everyone, okay? But the database inspiration, which will be kind of our way of kind of reposting what Tableau has for the viz of the day, or any cool dashboard tips and tricks that we can share with everyone. You can stay connected with it by just joining the group. One thing to note is that if you don't join any of the group, your numbers will not be exposed to anyone else. So if you want privacy, you can just join the community, and by default, you'll only be placed inside the announcement channel, which your numbers will only be visible to the leaders, us, right? So everyone else will not have your numbers. But if you want to network and stuff, feel free to create your own groups. I think we'll just need to approve the name and you guys can create your own groups. All right. We'll try both, yeah, because I think some people are active in LinkedIn, but the majority of people are not really active in LinkedIn. Like, I think in Singapore culture, like we only use LinkedIn when we're looking for jobs. Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I think we have a very good turnout today because we have like two superstars in the house. All right. Okay, so happy Halloween, early Halloween. So this picture is actually taken at the very first TUG meeting we had early this year. But obviously we weren't wearing these clothes. So we actually put this through the generative AI for Photoshop and created a Halloween theme photo for everyone. Yeah, and it turned out pretty well. Yeah, so part of the topic for today for Will is talking about how ChatGPT and AI can enhance our workflow and stuff like that. So hope you guys are looking forward to it. Okay, so just a quick agenda for today. So let me just introduce Will. So this is Will Sutton, the Iron Fist champion for last year. Yeah, so he's a real superstar. We also have Tristan on the call. He's also the Iron Fist champion for, I think, 2017. Yeah. Yeah, so we have two Iron Fist champion in the house today. So yeah, it's exciting. And then we have Kalino, who will be presenting on some dashboard tips and tricks as well. And then we'll finish off, I think probably Tristan can't see. Yeah, this is Tristan. Let me just, yeah. Whoops. Yep. Yeah, everybody say hi to Tristan.
Hello, everyone. I can see you. I cannot see the screen, so I don't know what is presenting at the moment. Hey.
Don't worry, everyone is looking at you. Okay. So this is an introduction. So we'll end off today with a short quiz on like, we'll show you a lot of bad visualization and we'll get your help to kind of identify what is wrong with the charts. So it'll be quite a fun exercise. All right. So let's get started. Kalino can take over from here.
Hi everyone, I'm Kalino. I'm not a IFB's champion. Yeah, but hopefully I'll be one soon. Just kidding. Yeah. So I'm with Interworks, a global BI consulting firm, where we do analytics consulting, development strategy, and training, and also support for any BI problems. Yeah. So during my consultancy journey, I find a lot of clients like having problems with trying to fit a lot of charts into dashboards, or having a lot of requests from users, like having like some users wanting to see in bar chart, someone wanting to see in table form. So I have consolidated some of the tips that I have for the sharing today. Hopefully you all will enjoy it. And so the first tip I have is the apply to filter trick. So what this does is, so if you see the top, the GIF here, normally when you click a bar chart, it will just highlight the bar and it will not just filter the row. So what I can do is to just when the user selects, he only shows one bar and shows the table below as a show height option. And the second is a collapsible container. So this helps you save space, especially for filters or parameters that you don't need. Sheet swapping. So this is the example that I gave. Some of the clients want to see in tabular form and someone in graph. So this option is available using sheet swap. And lastly, we have the custom sort interface. So some users are more concerned about profit, some are more concerned about sales. So we can show the different options and also sort them using a custom sort interface. So I'll be going through Tableau just to show how it's done. So I shared earlier, when I click the bar, it does nothing for now. But the end state is to filter by the bar and also show the table below. I'm also able to show either table or bar, and also sort by the measure I want, and also by ascending or descending order. Yep, so let's get started. So I have this level 1, which is the main bar chart, which I use as filter, and then level 2, bar and table. So the first thing I want to do is to, when I click each bar, it will filter the level 2 charts. So I can do this by using a simple dashboard action. And then choosing select and also exclude all values. So what exclude all values does is when I uncheck each selection, it will not show anything for the 2 charts below. And then for the tip, so basically I want the starter level 1 to reflect on the starter level filter trick. So I want it to have the same value. So similarly, dashboard actions, create a filter. And this time I want to select show all values. So when I unselect, it will show all of the subcategories. So just to test here, when I filter like coolers, it will show the different copiers, for the tables and charts, and also filter for the filter trick. And then where the trick is at, so I will go to the filter trick sheet. So the filter is just a duplicate of the main sheet. And using the action I configured earlier, I'll click selected worksheets and click back starter level 1. So now you can see the difference. There's only one bar now that I selected. And so what this does is, upon selection, starter level 1 will filter the starter level, the filter trick, and then the filter trick filters back. So this way, there's only one selection at every time. And then when I unselect, it will show all again. And then I can I'll make sure to hide this sheet after we configure this trick. And then you can remove from dashboard. So that's the first trick to filter based on. I'm sorry, I think there's some issue. Yep. Okay. And then now we are going to sheet swap. So I created a parameter called sheet swap parameter. I'll just bring it to the container here. Sorry, let me check something. So basically, I have a parameter called sheet swap, and I have indicated the value 1 to be bar and second to be table. So and because we know we can't put parameters into filter, I created a calculated field called sheet swap calc. It just basically takes the value of the parameter, and then I'll add this to filter. And so as we know, the table has a value of 2. So under custom value list, I will indicate 2, and then click the plus sign. So it disappears right now because it's not selecting for the table. Sorry, give me a while to troubleshoot some things. The bar is supposed to show currently. Okay, there's some issue, but basically once the filter selection is made, right, you can just toggle between bar and table correspondingly. And then to work on the sort by parameter, I created a calculated field called sort by parameter. So if you can see, it's a bit small here, but 1 will be sales descending, 2 will be sales ascending, and 3 will be profit descending, and 4 will be profit ascending. Yeah, so I include sort by. So I created a calculation called sort by calculation. So it says when the parameter is 1, it will show sales descending, so similar to how we did for the parameter build. Also, I created a rank and then the calculation. So when I add, what this does is to give a ranking based on the selection that we made. So you can see the rank on the most left of the table. So what this does is for every row, it will calculate based on the parameter and also whether it's ascending or descending. Right, and we can hide the header after. And then for the bar, which is supposed to show, right? Because this does not have, unlike tables which have built-in columns, the bar chart does not have a measure which we can choose. So if I choose sales, I want to see it in sales, and likewise for profit. So I did a calculated field called measure swap. So if it's 1 and 2, it will be sales, and 3 and 4, it will be profit. And then likewise, I can drag the sort by calculation and hide the header. And now since there's too many rows, I will put top 10 calculation. It just sorts by the top 10 of each sorting selection. Okay, and if we were to put the table together, put all the 3 charts together, it should look something like this. So the first trick is the filter trick. That we can only select one row and charts will show based on our selection. And then we can sort the table or bar graph by profit, sales, and whether we want to see in ascending or descending. And also we are able to sort the bar and table. Yeah, the last trick is a showdown. It's a drill down option where we can just hide and show filters or parameters whenever necessary. Yeah, with that, I end my short segment. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalino. I think those are very interesting trips that you can use to create your dashboard and stuff like that. And I know a lot of you have feedback that you want to look at more tips and tricks. So we'll definitely look at sharing more in the WhatsApp group or in our next TUG meeting as well. Right. So next up we have Tristan. Let me just stop sharing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect.
Yep. Tristan, the floor is all yours.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I will just make sure that you can see my screen also. If I do this, let me know. You should see landscape, like the standard background of. Yep.
Yep, we can see.
Okay, perfect. So let's start. My name is Tristan Guillevin, as you said, Luis, Tableau Visionary, Tableau Ambassador, 2017 R&D champion, so it's a bit of a long time right now. A few years ago, I created a company, my company, La Dataviz. Currently, it's a small studio of 2 since Jessica joined me a few months ago. We are specialized in data visualization, consulting with Tableau. We also share content on YouTube, on our newsletter, and we also build product. And I will be a bit the theme of the day is like showing you a bit those products and how they can help you. So thanks for inviting me for this presentation. I wanted to share with you that some charts, some things that are in Tableau, and why there is nothing to be scared about, right? Why and how our tools can help you make those scary things in Tableau be not scary. Also, I think part of the team and what will represent about ChatGPT and stuff like that, every image that you will see, not the charts, right, but every background here, were generated with DALL-E 3 in ChatGPT. So just also part of you being able to see what's possible. Let's start with our first scary monster, right? Since it's a bit of the theme of today, the monster, the scary charts. So the first one is the ghost of mathematical formula. And when I started my journey as a Tableau developer, I started working for a company called ActinVision. It was in 2015. And actually, my boss at the time, Olivier Catrin, was one of the people that invented a way to make a Sankey diagram in Tableau. He invented like a new technique, and that technique is like as follows. So you needed to do some data duplication, you needed to create a lot of different calculation, you needed to change the table calculation, you needed to add new calculation and etc. And at the end, you had a nice Sankey diagram. So it was so long and so complex and so a bit annoying for me that I actually never built any Sankey diagram with this technique during all of my years with that company. And actually, the technique is really good in essence. It's a technique that works. You can have those really nice Sankey. It's just that it was just annoying for me to go through all of those steps and to follow like a tutorial that was really pages and pages long just to produce something that I thought could be done more efficient. And at that time, when I was working with this company, my data viz process was something like that, right? I was using Tableau for everything, for the data exploration, the UI, the sketching, and to the publishing. So I was always staying within the constraint of what Tableau was allowing me to do. And after I changed company and I also started to create my own company, I started to work on my own project, and I started to diversify the tools that I'm using. And that is what I'm using right now. And I really spent last year almost the entire year learning about new tools, learning about Figma, learning about Webflow, learning about Svelte, learning about D3, how I can use those different tools in combination with Tableau. And with all of those tools together, I created a tool called Advis that allow you to create network, Sankey, bump chart, B-swarm, Voronoi tree map, and core diagram with just one simple click. So let me show you that. And I will show you why you don't have to be scared about certain charts. I'm just trying to put, probably I will need to do something like that. And Brett, bring this back here. Yes. So let's say you want to visualize a Sankey diagram like that. Oops, where is my window? Yes. And we have, you may recognize, this is the category of product, furniture, office supply, technology of Sample Superstar. This is the different region, and we have the sales. So the amount of sales that goes from furniture to that region. And then you have the different region, and you can see the quantity of sales that goes from this region to those ship mode. So standard class, second class, same day, and first class. Let's say you want to make a Sankey with this kind of data. You can just go in the tool, click on Sankey, select the file, select sankey.csv, and here you have it. So currently you are still in my tool, but you see the furnitures, the amount of sales that goes from furnitures to West. You can see West, you can see standard class, and it's a Sankey in the web page. And what you can do is configure it. For example, you can increase the size of the nodes, maybe add a bit of padding, sort by sales descending, so the bigger will be the biggest number of sales. And you can even do some things like moving the nodes around to create a design that is a bit more fun if you want. And once you have created the perfect Sankey for you, that the one that you want to have in Tableau, you don't have to create any calculation or template or follow any instruction. You can just click on Tableau Desktop, and that will automatically download a Tableau file with normally that Sankey that you have created in the tool directly in Tableau. So let's just wait for Tableau to open. That's always a bit of the suspense, but it should be fine. Yes, we have our Sankey now in Tableau. So the tool automatically created everything in Tableau for you. And it's a really standard Tableau chart using map layers. So you can maybe change the color of the nodes, change the color of the links if you want. You can add information, you can change the tooltip. You can really just play with that Sankey that is now in Tableau. It's also interactive, right? So that is just an example of how you can use the tool, and you really can see it's exactly the same Sankey. The tool is completely free, so you can just input your data. The data is never uploaded anywhere. I could turn my Wi-Fi off and still use the tool. If I do that, I will not be able to speak to you, so I'm not going to do it. But everything is like front end, so you are not uploading your data anywhere. And if you want to see a bit what is possible with the tool, we just launched a gallery to show how the community have used the tool to create their own chart. So if we go a bit down, you maybe recognize this person that created a really nice network around one piece. So yeah, you can just explore, you can filter by chart type. If you want to see all the Voronoi or all the Sankey diagram, you can just do that. And all of those charts have been created using our tool. So since today we are a bit in that Halloween and spooky theme, we wanted to create a visualization using this tool with a bit of horror data, right? So we gathered the data of 666 horror movies with their release date, worldwide box office, domestic box office, and international box office. And we're going to make a visualization with that. So I think an interesting way to represent so many data with time and value will be to use a B-swarm. So we are going to use the B-swarm. So we start with like the standard one. We can select a file, and let's take our horror file. So automatically we have our 666 movies. And the x-axis is the release year. So we will have here the oldest movie and here the most recent movie. The size is on the worldwide box office, and we can adjust the size. Maybe the bigger one are like 40 pixels to be able to see them nicely, and the smaller one will be like 1 pixel. We can also change the collision force, so that is the amount of space between two nodes. So maybe we will have 4 pixels to really have more space in between our different dots. Once you're happy, we can change the width and height of your view. So for example, I like to have 1,600 pixel and 800 pixel of height. I think that is usually a nice size for a B-swarm. And again, once you are ready with your design and happy with the design, you can just click on Tableau Desktop, and that downloads a B-swarm Tableau file that will contain, we can close this one, that will contain this exact same visualization, but this time in Tableau. That's it. So now we are in Tableau. And you can use this as just a standard Tableau chart that you know, right? It's just circles. So what you could do is we already had a calculation in our Excel file is top 10 that will return true or false if it's part of the top 10 movies. So we can just edit the color and say if it's part of the top 10, let's be orange. And if it's not, we will be in black. So like that, really easily, we can see the top 10 movies. So The Exorcist, Jaws, Hannibal, It, The Conjuring. So the top 10 movies in terms of box office, worldwide box office. And you can, of course, edit the tooltip and do many things if you want. So that's a bit of a funky chart, right? It's not like a standard business visualization. So maybe what you want to do is see maybe the worldwide box office through time. So let's just put the release date. Yep. So the different year, and maybe the worldwide box office. So we can see the evolution of the movie's box office. And maybe we want also to show the domestic and international one, maybe as I need to convert them as number and as measure. And let's put international box office and domestic. So I have these three evolution of the box office, and we can also just change the default properties to say what we are currently looking at is dollar, and we can put thousands of dollars. Something like that, right? And it's just an evolution, and maybe what I would like is to have some nice KPIs, counts, right, with the current year value, compare with the previous value, and stuff like that. So let me just save this work that we did, and we are going to focus on our second monster. So the second monster is the void of useless clicks. And that monster will usually arise when we want to do something like that, right? We want to do a nice KPI chart, and on the surface, it looks really easy to do. It looks like I can do that in Tableau easily. But actually, to have this level of niceness, you need to do a lot of calculation. For each KPI, you need to create at least 6 calculations, one for the current period value, one for the previous period value, the difference when they are positive and when they are negative to allow the change of colors, and the same for the percentage difference in positive and negative. So for one KPI, you usually need between 6 or 8 calculations, right? Let's take 6. If we have 3 KPI, it means that we need to create 18 calculations just to make the top part here. So 18 calculations that are just kind of repetitive and the same calculation every time. And then once you have the calculation, you still need to create that nice layout. And for that, you need to use a lot of containers, and you need to repeat the outer padding, the inner padding, the background, the border, and everything. So it's just like a lot of clicks. And that's why we call this monster the void of useless clicks, is because you are just repeating all the time the same actions just to create something that could be kind of duplicated or automated. And that's why we created a second tool called Bang, Big Aggregated Number Generator. And let me show you this one. So how does Bang works is like you select a Tableau file. Let's take our B-swarm. Let's put again 1,600 so we have the same width. And so you already have the B-swarm data source selected. We would like to have a dynamic date selection to be able to change the year so we can seed our KPI in different year. And now each box here will be one KPI. So I can say I want the average worldwide box office by year. So the yearly average box office of the different movies. And we want to the current value will be the most recent year since we are average, this pose no issue. And our KPI color, maybe we want something orange to match the theme of our existing B-swarm, like this kind of orange. And we want to compare that average worldwide box office with the previous year. And if it's positive, maybe we want black. And if it's negative, we want red. And we are going to display the evolution as a bar chart with the last 20 years. So you can just configure your KPI visually like that. And you can add another KPI. Maybe this one will be much faster, and we will look at the average domestic box office as a line chart. And maybe the last one will be the average international box office as an area chart. Once you have your KPI configured, you can just click on Generate Bands. And what the tool is doing and has done, and while it's opening, I will explain you, is it's adding all the calculation, all those annoying calculation directly in the Tableau file that you have input. And yeah, that's it. So now we have, see, we still have our B-swarm, we still have the worksheet that we did, but the tool added those KPI charts directly in our workbook. And if I just open one, you see that it's really standard Tableau. There is no map layers or other complicated stuff. The tool really just added all of those calculations that are called bank something in the Tableau file that you have input. So if I just say is current period, is simply like a comparison of the year compared to the max year that are in the data, right? So it's really standard Tableau calculation that you could create. Same as in the dashboard, is really like a standard layout with different containers. So everything here you can see still configured. And of course, because we said we wanted like to have a dynamic date, we can look at different dates. So for example, in 2020, you can see how hard that year was for movies in general because of COVID, of course, because of all the cinema were closed. So you can really have those nice KPIs, see the trends, see the evolution versus the previous year. And we have done all of that in just one click, right? Let me save that, that worksheet. I can hide the different sheets. And now what we have is one nice KPI tracker dashboard and one nice B-swarm. And it will be good if we could put those two things together in a nice dashboard with some titles and some things like that, right? And what, yes, let me go back to my presentation. And that's where we arrive to the third monster, the infinite tile of doom, how I call it. So this one is when you have something like that in Tableau. Maybe if you are used to use Tableau, if you have some experience, you know how annoying this kind of things is when you just want to move your containers around, right? Even if you have like two nice containers, like two horizontal containers with different elements. So you have a first container, a second one, and you just want to move that worksheet to be aligned. Boom, suddenly what it does is it creates a tile and your containers are completely broken. And for me, that's a bug, but a bug that exists in Tableau since I use it. So I don't think it will be corrected anytime soon. So those kind of things that are really annoying when you create a Tableau dashboard. And that's why more and more people currently are using Figma, right? They are using Figma to create their design in Tableau before starting the development. And I just wanted to show you, for example, one idea of that design could be something like that, right? We could have like a nice title with maybe some button that allow you to select the genre. Here we have a title, we can see who is the developer, and then we have our KPI, the different KPI that we already created. And then another one below that all the 666 movies by year and worldwide with the B-swarm. So let's say I want to convert that. I want to have this design as a Tableau dashboard. Well, it will take me a few hours to be able to replicate exactly that nice design, right? And that's why we have developed a new plugin that is called Figma to Tableau or Tableau Converter that allow you to select a Figma frame. So for example, this dashboard. And then you can configure it if you want it as containers with tile with containers or floating. And what you can do is upload a Tableau file that you already have, like a Tableau file that you have on your file. So let's take our B-Swarm bank. And what you can see here is all the worksheet that currently exist in that Tableau file, right? And the interesting thing is in our design, in our Figma design, we have named our different rectangle here, sheet, underscore, and the name of one of those worksheets that exist already in our Tableau file. So this is KPI 0, evolution 0, KPI 1, etc. And this one will be the sheet, B-Swarm sheet, as it exists here. So once you have made sure that you align the different worksheet name in your Tableau file and in your Figma design, you can just click on Generate Workbook, and that will create a new Tableau workbook file that will recreate exactly the design that you have in Figma in Tableau. So again, I will pass some of the details on how it's done, but we have our KPI tracker dashboard, we have our B-Swarm, and now we have our dashboard. That is exactly the design that we have in Figma. And again, it's nothing, it's not images or anything. If I go in the layout, this is like a text, this is like the image. So it also exported all the image. And we can see all the different elements, all the different containers. So instead of having to mess with all of those containers, everything is created automatically with that Figma to Tableau plugin. So that's a new plugin. It's coming around November, by the end of November, I think. And it's really to help you be less scared of making dashboard in Tableau, right? So if I summarize a bit, we have used Advis to generate this advanced chart that usually Tableau is not able to do. We have used Bank to create those different KPI. And then we have used our plugin Figma to Tableau to convert the Figma design into a Tableau workbook. And we did all of that in more or less 15 minutes. So that's what we wanted to show you, that there is nothing scary about this chart. If you are using the right tool, you can do all of those things really efficiently. But if you want, you can still make charts that are scary. And since we are in like a Halloween theme and like a spooky ambience, we wanted to also go one step further and show you how we can make things a bit scary if you want. So let's take our B-Swarm and let's duplicate it. So we have the different circle, and instead of having is top 10, just true or false, I'm going to say if is the top 10, then show me the ID, so the name of the movies. So now you can see that all the movies that are not part of the top 10 are blue, and the other one have different colors. So instead of colors, I'm going to use shape. And Jessica, who is working with me, she drew those nice horror shapes. So when there is when it's not part of the top 10 or for the different movies. So let me assign that palette, click OK, and I'm just going to increase a bit the size. So for the moment, it's already a bit scarier, but not too scary. What I'm going to do is just say that this B-Swarm is called B-Swarm Scary. I'm going to save that Tableau file. We can go back in Figma, and if we go down, we have created another dashboard. This time that is more something that looks like something that could be published on Tableau Public, right? And what I'm going to do is just restart my plugin, select Dashboard Scary, input our Tableau file where we have our B-Swarm Scary here available. So what I can do is just like generate this workbook that creates another Tableau file. So we have just generated a lot of Tableau files today. And let's wait a bit. So we have now our KPI tracker dashboard, our B-Swarm chart, our nice dashboard that looks really professional, and a dashboard scary that looks like something could be something that could be published on Tableau Public. And we did almost all of that without clicking anywhere in Tableau, just by using our different tools. So you can make charts that are scary if you want. I guess we will publish this visualization for Halloween in the coming days. And yeah, I wanted to finish by saying, if you want to keep track of what we are doing, the different tools that we are building, the best way is to go on our newsletter. So newsletter.ladatavis.com. We try to share every week the progress of our different tool and development. My name is Tristan Guillevin. You can find me or us anywhere at Ladatavis, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. It's our website, it's our newsletter, it's our YouTube channel also. And I just wanted to finish by saying thank you a lot for inviting me for this presentation. I already visited Singapore in 2017. Let me stop the presentation. Yes, so I already visited Singapore in 2017 for 2 weeks. I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here with you today, but if anyone that is in that room wants to work with us, we'll be happy to use that as an excuse to come visit your city again, right? So thank you, everyone. If you have any question, I don't know how the question will work, but if you have any and we have time, I'm happy to answer your questions.
All right, thanks, Tristan. I think that is really impressive, right? And it's also an excuse for
I see you clapping. I
start
cannot
learning
hear you,
Figma.
but thank you.
Yeah, anyone have any question for Tristan? Yeah, everyone is just mind blown by your presentation.
Well, what I wanted to say, and maybe it's a good transition to Will's presentation, is I think almost none of what we have done would be possible without ChatGPT. Honestly, if we are able to do all of those tools, like I started Adviz a year ago. So in 1 year, we did Adviz, we did Bang, and we need the Figma plugin. And most of those things were possible because we also leverage ChatGPT to understand how a Tableau XML file can work. So a Tableau file is nothing more than an XML file. So ChatGPT can understand it and help you write function to automatize calculation or to convert Figma Figma frames into Tableau containers. So we really leverage the AI and the new technology to also create those kind of tools.
You had a question? The Tableau converter, the one that Tristan, yeah. So that one will be coming out in November. So
November.
it's a good time for everyone to start learning Figma, because Figma is actually a very user-friendly tool like Tableau. So you can actually create like shapes, create reusable elements that you can create dashboards or even reports and stuff like that. And with Tristan's upcoming tool, is going to make it much more faster. Yep.
Hi, Tristan. This is T from Singapore. This is quite mind-blowing. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it works very well with flat files like Excel, data source. But in the work context, most of the time we have to connect to published data sources.
Mhm.
So how can we use this in the work context? Could you explain a little bit on this?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I guess you are talking about the first tool, Adviz, when you need to select a file, like a flat file, like an Excel file or a CSV. The other one, Bang, for the KPI, doesn't care about what source is connected, because I'm just creating calculation based on the data source that already exists. So if it's more for the first tool, how can we make Sankey or BSwarm? Currently, the tool, and that's why the tool is free, is because it only works with those flat files, those Excel file or CSV. The thing is, I cannot share much more than that, but in the coming months, there may be some evolution on the Tableau API functionalities that may allow us as developers to build more custom experience in your visualization, right? So currently the tool only allows you to connect to a flat file, but eventually in the future, maybe we'll be able to you will be able to create those B-swarm and stuff like that based on your published data source, right? Currently, nothing exists yet, but yeah, watch this space, and as soon as we can do something, I will let you know.
Thanks, Tristan. Any more questions for Tristan? All right. Thanks, Tristan, for showing us this. I think everyone enjoyed your presentation very much, and I think like a lot of them are going to start learning Figma.
Yeah, it's a really great tool. Like I think you can really speed your process of making a dashboard if you first use Figma before just trying to make everything happen in Tableau, just because of how user-friendly creating a UI in Figma is compared to in Tableau. So you can really easily duplicate element, duplicate style, which in Tableau you cannot really do. So yeah, if you have any question, you can also reach out to us from our website, contact us, or on LinkedIn, or on whatever you want. Just don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, I guess if you don't have any other question, I will let Will present now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Does this work? Yes, it does. Hello, Singapore. I just got to say a big thank you for all coming out tonight. I traveled quite a long way. I feel so super welcome seeing so many of you here. And this kind of get together is all like what I love about the community. So we appreciate seeing you all here. I'm Will. I've been a data analyst for about 10 years. That makes me feel really old. Yeah, I've been using Tableau for 10 years. It was awesome. I love Tableau because it really helped me develop those skills as a data analyst. But over the last year, I've become rather fond of ChatGPT. So this talk is all about combining the two together. So what we're going to hear about today is all the things about ChatGPT. We're going to see the good stuff about ChatGPT, the bad stuff, and ultimately we're going to be answering that question: is ChatGPT going to take your job as a data analyst? I did include a disclaimer beforehand because a lot of this is based on my own work, my own using with the tool. So what I hope you get out of this talk is a bit of ideas, inspiration of how you can use ChatGPT alongside what you're doing with Tableau to give you some ideas, some inspiration what to do next. So way back when, a little tool called ChatGPT came out and the world kind of went mad for a little while. They all said, oh, it's so amazing. It passes all these tests. It's like really smart, really clever. Like, yes, this is amazing. And then we started learning that, yeah, actually it's going to start taking away people's jobs, which is less cool, less interesting about that. So it started taking people's jobs, and it wasn't satisfied with just taking people's jobs. It was going to take people's lives away as well. So I was looking at this, I was feeling quite concerned. Like, well, what's the future going to look like for me? What should I be doing? Should I become a plumber? You know, what should I do? And then I met a few people online that said, well, have you actually tried using ChatGPT? It struggles with some very basic things, like counting. So here I asked it, write a 6-word story. It actually gives me 7 words, so more than I wanted. Also, I saw a bunch of people that really couldn't take ChatGPT seriously at all. Sorry, Tristan, they were the French. So a group of people online, so in French, when you pronounce ChatGPT, it's ChatGPT. Hopefully I've got that right, Tristan. So what that translates as is cat, I farted. So I was wondering, what's going to happen? Am I going to die? Should I take this seriously? So I wanted to go off there. I wanted to find out what was out there in the world. I want to make my own mind up about these things. So at the time, I actually found this competition out there. So Visual Capitalists, they produce these really design-orientated visualizations. They publish these out in the wild, and they look kind of cool. But they had a competition running. Okay, So I figured, oh, could I try and use ChatGPT here? Can it actually live up to the hype? So there was a competition running about international trade. There was 1 week left on the competition. And what was more important to me at the time was there was $2,000 on the line. So I thought, okay, you know, I can set up a win-win situation here. So I can set up a test. If ChatGPT can do it, I'm gonna probably have to find a new job, but I've got $2,000. If it can't do it, then well, my job's safe. So like either way, win-win. Okay, so here I was set up with this idea. Let's go and build a dashboard in a week on international trade, get myself that $2,000, or I get to keep my job. So this is where we went to. So this is it. Could ChatGPT win that contest for me? So this was back in May. So this was using an earlier version of the product called the paid version on GPT-4. So I just started asking ChatGPT questions like, can you go and out there, just tell me a story with data. So I asked it, what would be some good ideas about international trade, some good stories out there? I didn't know anything about this topic, and like is all new to me, but it came back with these like 5 different ideas. And these look kind of interesting to me. So all about changes, trends, importers, exporters. But the one I liked here was number 4. So these commodities. I thought this is cool. This is relevant to me. Things like diamonds, jewels, gold, oil. This is cool. This is where the money is. I like this stuff. Let's go for this. From this, I was able to produce 2 visualizations in a week. So I did one here on pearls, another one on diamonds. So I got ChatGPT, okay, we're going to take this topic. Here's what the data looks like. Can you help me build out these visualizations? He'll give me some suggestions. I say, no, I want it like this. I want it to be that. So I got this idea in my head, like diamonds are a girl's best friend. Let's build a viz around that. So I came back with these 2 visualizations and stuff I hadn't really ever made before with Tableau. And I was really excited and impressed. I've really got a good chance here. I've got two chances. In fact, I'm really there. So I'm looking forward to like, oh, my name's going to be shortlisted, isn't it? I'm going to be that $2,000's mine, maybe more now. So really eager. So I'm here waiting for the shortlist to come out from Visual Capitalist. Here it comes. Oh, these look cool. Yeah. Wait a second. Where's mine? What? Neither of them made it. I'm like, well, obviously ChatGPT's messed up here. That's it. My job's safe. That's all good. But, you know, ChatGPT, you really let me down here. So I was looking over these. They then announced the winner of the visualization contest, which was this one. So out of Africa. So this is all about looking about different trends about exporters from like Africa exporting goods and services out to the rest of the world. You see changes in trends. I was like, wait a second, that kind of sounds familiar. I look back at those stories and I remember, wait a second, I'd seen that story before. It was recommended to me by ChatGPT and I picked the wrong one. Yeah. So not only have I not got $2,000, there's a chance that ChatGPT is going to take my job as well. So I'm feeling pretty low at this point. But then I thought, come on, well, it's not that bad. I mean, even if you did pick that one, the shifts in trends, how would you know to go and make that visualization? Like, I know how to make that visualization. I could use one of Tristan's tools, make that Sankey chart. That'd be cool. But how would I decide to make that visualization? How would I go from that topic to that? Like, how would I decide to pick Africa? How would I decide to pick that chart, pick those color schemes, pick the text? How would I know these things? And I realized there was only one person who was going to know this, and that was the person that made it. So I came up with a scheme. I did what any data nerd would do. I started a podcast. Yep, you would be surprised how willing people are to disclose of information on a podcast. So yes, I interviewed the author. I interviewed loads of different authors out there in the world. They'd all done like won competitions, loads of favorites on Tableau Public Visit of the Day, had their own exhibitions. Super cool work. So what I noticed from all these conversations I had was certain three things that came across. Okay, so throughout my process, I've been thinking, okay, how do I construct this data story in the right way? Do you need to start with the data? Do you start with like a story in mind? Do you start with a chart? Actually, it turned out you didn't need any of those. You could start from any point. I remember I interviewed CJ Mays, who started with a chart idea and then made a visualization from that. That was amazing, and had a story, had the data, everything. It was great. It's okay. You needed those three things, but the order in which they were didn't matter. Each one of our authors has gone through and built in a kind of iterative manner. So the idea was, okay, so they just worked on the same thing again and again and again, but actually they had several projects on the go, and they slowly built them up. Many of them actually didn't make the light of day, so only a few pieces of work you actually saw in the end. So, okay, so there were some cases where they got so far a piece of work and then just dropped it, moved on to something more valuable. And lastly was the element of feedback. They all had gone out to people in the community just to ask them, how's the work doing? How can they progress the work? Okay, so I had these ideas came into my mind of how I can go back and how I can use these ideas with ChatGPT. While that was happening, ChatGPT got an upgrade. So it released, you might have remembered the code interpreter. It now calls itself advanced data analysis. You know, if I had to sum up my job in 3 words, it'd be advanced data analysis. So it's really coming from a job. It's really coming. So what can we do? So I started redefining the objective here. Okay, the competition's gone. I'm not getting them a 2 grand, but could I create a visualization that they would publish? So this is using code interpreter, advanced data analysis as of August. This is where we went. So we've got a bit of a game plan going on here. I know some faults with the previous ideas, which were me. So I decided, let's get ChatGPT to do all the work for me. Like I'm really here to do the things it can't do. So ChatGPT is going to come up with all those ideas, do all the data storytelling, all the decisions. I'm just here really to build the stuff in Tableau. That's sadly one of the functionalities it doesn't have. So I'm going to build the stuff in Tableau. I'm going to just do a check just to make sure it makes sense. And then any issues, I'm just going to go back to ChatGPT. Okay, so that's the game plan. What I started with was trying to get it trained up to be a bit more of a data analyst. So here on the left is the visual vocabulary from the Financial Times. So with that, I went and turned that into text. I gave that to ChatGPT to improve some of the chart recommendations. Before I'd been quite, I don't know, do a bar chart, do a line chart. I'm like, okay, I've done those. So this gave it a bit more of a texture of like what other charts were available out there. So also I could help force it saying, oh, I want to build like a network diagram, and it would know what that is and know the analysis that I would do for that. And then also had this little framework here called Craft, this kind of prompting framework to help focus ChatGPT a bit more, and also from my side focus on what I should be putting into ChatGPT. So here, things like context is all about what are we trying to do? We're trying to build a visualization for visual capitalist. Needs to be these dimensions, this sort of overall plan of what we're trying to do. The role I want ChatGPT to be, I want to be, yeah, an amazing data storyteller, only the best, please. What actions do I want it to take? This is what I wanted to do. So I give it all these instructions. I want it to be able to prepare data sets, tell me what to analyze on this data, build out a story, recommend charts, those kind of things. Lastly, the format was how I want to return the data. This is just text instructions. You can get it to do things like tables or more analysis. And actually, lastly, the target is the target audience. So who are these going to? So readers of Visual Capitalists or people interested in money, the finance, economy, these kind of things. So with that in mind, we started again. This is some of the good stuff from ChatGPT. So this was cool. So I was working with ChatGPT, came up with this idea. So there's a story idea about how the world's moving from cash payments all to online digital payments. Gives me a data source. So when I'm able to find the data there, go and pull that back into ChatGPT. So it gave me some good ideas here. Now I'm going to see some bad stuff. Okay. So code interpreter advanced data analysis will also try and make charts for you at times. So the chart on the left, I think we all know there's something wrong with that one. Like there's nothing there. There's nothing there. So something's happened in the Python code. It's suddenly just broken. And anyone would know that. Like technical, non-technical, anyone know there's something gone wrong here. The chart on the right is a bit more tricky. So come over here. Sorry about the small font, but you can sort of see over here that what it's showing is the global account trends for financial accounts. So you can see this massive drop-off come down in the latest year of 2022. There is two things going on here. So firstly, it's going to truncate this axis. So it only starts here around sort of 0.35. So really, this really looks accentuated, the drop-off as well here. The second thing that's going on is that there was only like 10% of countries reporting for 2022. So really, should we be including that data point when it doesn't really represent the global trend? It's really just a small subset. So there were two things I noticed then. So if you didn't know about those or weren't able to spot those as an analyst, you could have easily sent astray by ChatGPT there. It's a little bit more worrying, if you're a non-technical person or not well trained to spot those kind of things, you could be easily sent the wrong way. But never mind, I was able to spot those kind of things, sort that out. So in the end, I came back with 20 dashboard ideas. So I'm working again till a week. So different ideas, again, starting sometimes with the data, sometimes with a chart, sometimes with like a story in mind. So I had 20 ideas. Okay, so I did my review of the work. 6 of them were just didn't work, just didn't make any sense. Like the story was off, or like what it was trying to tell me was bad. There were also another 4 that, again, there was a complete misalignment of what it was saying as a story to what the charts actually were. You couldn't get the picture. So about half of the things that came back were all bad in this case, and we can see what bad looks like here. So this data set was talking about unemployment rates in America. So we have the state of Minnesota saying how it's been so remarkable rebound in unemployment, which sounds good. We were recommending things like a slope chart, line chart. Those all sound good to me. And then go and build the chart. This is what it looks like. So build that, yeah, I mean, there's been a decline there in unemployment, but you can see the gray lines here represent all the other states in America. And, if I just highlight, say, the state of Nevada, that's much better. Like that, I can't really tell you a story about how remarkable the change in unemployment is when, in the context of all those other states, they're actually much better performers amongst the group. Similarly, I have things where we talk about top leaders in certain areas. 2 were like in the bottom 30, like in the bottom end of the countries, and the 3rd wasn't even in the data set. So there was some issues going on there, but hey, come down a bit. I've still got 10 ideas. This is way better than what I would normally have, despite half of them being wrong. So I asked ChatGPT, can you tell me which ones of these you think are the best? Can we give me the top 3, and then we're going to work on those? So we came back with these 3. These were my 3 charts. I was then going to go and iterate on these a little bit more. So 3 different stories. So we then came down to these visualizations by the end of the week. So, okay, so 3 different stories here, stuff I had got ChatGPT to lead me all the way there. And I was pretty pleased. I was like, again, this is stuff I don't normally not normally doing, like charts I don't normally do, and haven't really done a chord diagram before, but I could. So these look pretty cool, but I want to know whether this would pass Visual Capitalist test. Does it make the test? Well, for a long time, I did not hear back from Visual Capitalist, but I asked a few folks in the community. There was definitely a bit of confusion on the first two, but the last one people liked. I held out some good hope for those. Time has passed. There was a quick dismissal from Visual Capitalist on these first two. And now, last week, I found out they've also dismissed the last one. So, yeah, in all honesty, I feel like the last one's good. I feel the last one's getting there, but not in the eyes of Visual Capitalists. But I do feel like, hey, what have I learned from all of this process? Yeah, what about that question? Is it going to take my job? Am I safe? Well, I can tell you, not today. I am safe in my job. ChatGPT, I just found from this process, was seriously inconsistent. Like, came up with a few good things here and there, but still didn't quite make it. But this talk, I mean, I don't think it's going to take my job, but what's going to happen is ChatGPT is definitely going to change my job. That title was meant to update, but hopefully that's updated. But how is it going to change my job? So what you'll need is the skills as a data analyst to avoid all the inaccuracies. So you saw those times where it gives you a chart and said, look at this trend. Like, wait a second, there's a few things wrong with this trend. So here, you're still going to need the skills of a data analyst to change, to make sure it's doing the right things. But what I can say, the positive side, yeah, it does really accelerate the ideas. Right? As I said, international trade is not a topic I work in, but now suddenly I had 20 ideas. Okay, half of them weren't good. I still had 10 ideas. There's still way more than I had going into the project. So really helped with that. Lastly, what I want to give you part of this is I have available a little GitHub repository of all the code I use or the prompts I gave ChatGPT. So you can now go out and build your own Copilot with ChatGPT. This is how I kind of view what ChatGPT will be. It's not a competition. It's going to be my Copilot, my assistant, help me along, bring me those ideas. So I have a GitHub repository available, all those prompts that you can go and use, test out for yourself and see what you think. That is all from me, folks. I just want to say, yeah, there's a post. We can get that later. Oh, no. No, thank you, Paige. Okay. So that is the link. I can probably send that around with the resources afterwards. Again, I want to say a pleasure speaking to you all tonight. I hope you all had a really good evening. And yeah, take a trial. Try ChatGPT out when you're next doing working with a bit of data. See what it says. Is it good? Is it not? Just wait. You can make your own decisions there. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. I think that is a very interesting topic for everyone, right? Because now the growing trend is using AI for most of your work and stuff like that. So use AI. Or using AI without telling your boss, yeah. Okay, we realized that we're a bit out of time. So we actually have a quiz, but if people need to leave early, it's fine. But if you want, you can stay for the quiz, because we have prepared like some prizes that we'll mail out to you guys. Yeah. But before that, in case people need to leave, let's take a group photo together first. Yeah.